Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and guys, obviously Merry Christmas. But we also have to get to today's NHL Awards Tracker. I did get this information from a very good Instagram account, Puck Empire. So credit to them; they have a great Instagram. Make sure to check that out. But we have the rankings today. I'm going to be going over it in terms of the awards. So we're going to be going over everything. We're going to go MVP of the NHL this season. That's the Hart Trophy. We also have the Vezina Trophy, Goalie of the Year. We also have the Norris Trophy, Best Defenseman in the NHL. Calder Trophy, the Rookie of the Year. The Selkie Trophy is the Best Center in the NHL. Jack Adams is Coach of the Year, as well as the Jim Gregory, which is the General Manager of the year. So we are 10 weeks into the NHL season. So what do we got? What do we have on the table today? So we're going to be going over that. So we're going to start off with the Hart Trophy, the big one, really. It's the MVP, the most valuable player to their team/franchise. And we're going to be going over the top 5. Now, this is very interesting. So they have Jonathan Quick as the number 5. Now, I think this is interesting because where he's been the past couple of years, this has been a renaissance season for him in particular. We saw early on Andre Kopitar have a nice start, Drew Doughty before he got injured, even Dustin Brown. A bunch of those guys had a pretty good start to this season. Jonathan Quick has still held out very strong. He has done very nicely for the Kings, and despite maybe not having the most success recently, the LA Kings, a lot of their success has come on the back of Jonathan Quick, and I think it's nice to see him get some mention here. Now, the top 4 isn't going to surprise anybody too much, but at number 4, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs' Austin Matthews. He has been an absolute animal, a workhorse for the Maple Leafs, and is a huge reason they are where they are. He scores goals from everywhere. He's a point-producing center that can really do anything you ask of him, and I think he is a huge piece of what the Leafs are trying to do to win a championship. So Austin Matthews is number 4. At number 3 and number 2, I guess I could put them together here. Really, it's the twins. It's Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid at number 2 and 3 from the Edmonton Oilers. I don't think anybody is surprised by this. The only reason I don't see either of these guys winning is because they're going to beat each other out for the MVP. So if you don't pick Draisaitl, you're going to pick McDavid, and you end up getting the spot where neither of them win it, because that's kind of how this works. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out between the two of them. They have been extremely good. They have really been the backbone of that Oilers organization now for the past 2 or 3 years. So it's no surprise to see them in the top 3. And number 1, it is the great 8. It is Ovi. It is Alexander Ovechkin. He has been just, I don't know what else to say about this guy. This guy literally is just an animal. And every time I've watched him play, he pisses me off every time because he's always wide open at the top of that circle, and somehow that puck gets across and he just buries it. You don't even see the puck go from its stick to the net. It's just in the back of the net and out. It bounces out so quick. He has frustrated me for years as an Islander fan, but he is an absolutely great goal scorer. Absolutely, I would agree that he is the number 1 guy for the Hart Trophy race this season. Moving on to the goalies, we're moving on to the Vezina Trophy. So at number 5, this name doesn't surprise me too much, but he actually had a pretty rough start to the season, and that's Andrei Vasilevsky from the Tampa Bay Lightning. He obviously won the Vezina earlier this year in the 2021 season. Great goalie as usual. A lot of questions about, well, is the team in front of him that good and his stats look better because of that? I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think Vasilevsky is the real deal. Yzerman brought him in, and there's a reason for that. He is a very good goalie. And again, a former first-round pick goalie that turned out. So Vasilevsky continuing to do what he's done in Tampa. And I would argue Tampa is the best team in the NHL right now. So a lot of that has to be contributed to Mr. Vasilevsky. Now at number 4 is the Toronto Maple Leafs again. We're seeing Jack Campbell in the conversation. He has really been good for the Maple Leafs, and he's slipped up a little bit. Now I think some of that is because he's actually starting to not play every single night like he was in the beginning of the season. Now that Peter Mrazek is back and healthy, they seem to be splitting the starts more evenly, and that means that Sheldon Keefe is not playing Jack Campbell as much. So maybe that's actually affecting him a little bit, not playing every game. He was just so consistently playing. Maybe that's thrown off his rhythm just slightly, but he has still been very good. And Jack Campbell absolutely in that conversation. And at number 3, we are looking at, again, another team on the East Coast here, and that's the Carolina Hurricanes' Freddy Anderson, a former goalie of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Freddy Anderson has been very good for the Hurricanes, and again, another really solid team this season. There were some questions about, Freddy Anderson going down to Carolina. Would he have some more success than he did in Toronto? And he seems to be answering that pretty fittingly this season. Yes, the answer is yes. The Carolina Hurricanes have one of the best defenses in the league this year, leading the NHL, or second in the NHL for penalty kill. Best goals against average per game this year. They are the real deal. They are legit. And now some of that definitely has to be given to Freddy Anderson. At number 2, I know some fans are going to be pretty happy about this. It's Igor Schesturkan. And you're seeing him not being there through the month of December, that the Rangers have fallen back a little bit without him. So I think Igor Schesturkan coming back healthy to start 2022. I think it's no surprise that the Rangers expect success again with him in between the pipes. Shesterkin is very good, a very good goalie, just tactically and some of the things he does. A great goalie overall, and I know the Rangers are very happy to have him, and hopefully he'll be back the next time the Rangers play again. Now, number 1 here is the guy we talked about already for the MVP at number 5. He's number 1 in the Vezina race for the best goaltender through the first little stretch of the season, and that's Jonathan Quick of the Los Angeles Kings. A big piece in those 2 really nice winning streaks they've had through the first 30-plus games of the year. Jonathan Quick has really kind of proved everybody wrong. Everybody thought last season, usually when you get in your mid-30s as a goalie and you have that bad season, that's it. And you don't come back from that. We have seen some great Hall of Fame goalies have that experience and not come back. Jonathan Quick defying the odds. The Kings, despite having a banged up defense, losing Doughty for a while, Sean Walker out for the season, they've lost some pretty big guys. Now Edler is probably out for a extended period of time, and yet Jonathan Quick is still there as the backbone on their defense / goaltending. Really nice to see Jonathan Quick back for the LA Kings, and he'll be playing in a new arena name in the start of next year, Crypto.com Arena, so that'll be interesting. All right, so looking at the Norris Trophy, which is the best defenseman in the NHL, and this top 5 is not really anything we haven't heard about already. I already made a video about this, I think, about a month ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. At number 5 is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, this is the 3rd time we've talked about a Maple Leafs player in the race, and that is Morgan Rielly. Morgan Rielly has been very nice for the Leafs this year, and honestly, I hate to say it, if I'm Morgan Rielly, selfishly, I'm thinking, damn, I should have waited to sign that contract. He could be making a little bit more money, especially if he were to win the best defenseman, the Norris Trophy this year. He'll definitely be kicking himself saying, damn, I should have waited. I should have waited on that contract. But credit to Kyle Dubas and the Leafs on getting that done before. But he has been very nice for the Leafs. At number 4, Roman Yossi, the defenseman, the captain of the Nashville Predators, a huge piece of their success early this season. They're 2nd in the Central Division. He leads the team in points as a defenseman. And that's pretty good considering you have some really good competition there. Mikael Granlund, Matt Duchene, Philip Forsberg. He's beating all those guys out in points. So got to give credit where it's due there to Roman Yossi. Absolutely should be a top 5 guy at this point. Now the next guys here at 2 and 3 are both on the Colorado Avalanche. And this one kills me because it's a former Islander. And again, I remember watching him in 2014, 2015 with the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. Devon Toews, man, this guy is just such a good puck-moving defenseman. He's got a great shot, creates offense, a great skater, can move the puck up, is just so good. And the Avalanche were missing him when he was injured there for that little bit throughout October and November. Really nice to see him back in the lineup, getting 3rd star of the week just last week. He has been an absolute machine in his time with the Avalanche. Really nice to see him having success there. And those 2 second-round picks Joe Sakic took to get him, an absolute steal. And obviously at number 2, Cale Makar. I mean, this guy is always going to be in the conversation for the Norris Trophy as long as he could stay healthy. That is the key thing for Cale Makar. That's kind of what hurt him last season from winning that Norris Trophy. So definitely going to be in the conversation again. The Avalanche, by far, in terms of the best top pairing in the NHL, it is definitely the Avalanche with Devon Toews and Cale Makar. And here we go again at number 1. I know these fans are going to be very happy with this. And again, you know, the guy that won it here in 2021, looking to defend his title as the best defenseman in the NHL, it is Adam Fox. Once again, Adam Fox is a huge piece of the Rangers' turnaround through this season and last. Gerard Gallant continuing to get that same success from him. And I think it's no surprise he's here. One of the great young defensemen in the NHL. And it's really nice to see how he has kind of come into form and come along as a great D-man in the league. A lot of people were giving him a lot of heat for not signing with the Carolina Hurricanes, not signing with the Nashville Predators. He would not sign anywhere except New York. New York was his home. That's where he wanted to be, and he got his wish, and he has met all the very big, high expectations of playing in the Big Apple. So really nice to see Adam Fox. Really, as I've said in the past in videos, and many other people have said, potentially the next Brian Leetch of the New York Rangers. All right, so looking at the Rookie of the Year, also known as the Calder Trophy, we have our top 5. Spoiler alert, there's a couple of Red Wings on this list, and that's, if you've watched a couple of games, probably not too much of a surprise. And number 5 to start that list off is a Red Wings guy, and it's a goaltender. Alex Nedeljkovic. Alex Nedeljkovic did play last season with the Carolina Hurricanes, but he didn't meet the game requirement. Kind of a Matt Murray situation we saw a couple years ago in his rookie year with the Penguins. He won a Stanley Cup, yet the next season he was still in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. It's weird how they do that. But Nedeljkovic is in the conversation. He's been very good for the Red Wings. Kind of taken the starter role away from Thomas Greiss, just forcefully. So it's really nice to see him come in. A lot of people were very excited when the Red Wings brought him in this offseason for, what was it, a 2nd or 3rd round pick from the Carolina Hurricanes. Again, another head scratcher there by the Hurricanes, coming back to bite them in the ass here. A really nice move there for the Red Wings. And again, Yzerman, he's good with his goalies. He's hit gold so far with his guy in Detroit with Nedeljkovic. At number 4, you got to have the defenseman in there as well from the Red Wings. Steve Yzerman's crazy, ludicrous pick in the 2019 NHL Draft, 6th overall. It was Moritz Seider, and here he is in that conversation. Moritz Seider has been a really nice pickup for the Red Wings, and we saw him a little bit in Grand Rapids here earlier this year in 2021, his first real time in North America. A lot of people were disappointed they didn't see him earlier this year in Detroit, but he's been developing. He's played a lot in Europe, so getting used to the North American ice, the North American game, it is a little bit different. So I think his adjustments have really come through. We've seen him progress at an incredible level, scoring his first NHL goal in overtime. How much better can you get than that? So Moritz Seider, you got the goalie, you got the defenseman. You could probably figure who is that other guy for the Red Wings, but we haven't gotten there quite yet. At number 3, again, this is another thing where, Nedeljkovic from the Hurricanes, they're probably kicking themselves on that one. And the Arizona Coyotes, of all organizations, this kid was in their backyard. He's from Arizona. He was just with the Arizona Coyotes. They let him go. And now he is number 3 with the Toronto Maple Leafs as the Rookie of the Year, Michael Bunting. What a great story out of Toronto. He has replaced Zach Hyman as a top 6 forward, coming in at a lot cheaper of a price tag. Don't let Michael Bunting know that, because he's probably going to ask for a raise. Kyle Dubas won't be happy about that, but Michael Bunting has been very, very good for the Leafs. A steal from what they found in really was I like to put it in better terms, but really the dumpster. They found him in the dumpster and said, oh, let's bring him in. And I was myself questioning, this is Kyle Dubas's guy that he brought in, Michael Bunting. Proving a lot of people, including myself, wrong. He has been very good for the Leafs in the top six. Yes, he's playing with some really talented guys, but he's been able to play there. Not everybody can do that, and you have to give credit where it's due there. Michael Bunting put in a position to succeed, and he has met every expectation and exceeded those expectations in his time in Toronto. And then at number 2 here, yes, we have the goalie from Detroit. We have the defenseman from Detroit. You knew we were going to reach the forward at some point, Lucas Raymond. Lucas Raymond, at points this season, has led the Detroit Red Wings in points. He has also led the rookies in points for most of the season until that guy from Anaheim came along. Okay, I already spoiled it. But Lucas Raymond, really, really good for the Red Wings this year. And a team that has struggled to score goals over the past couple of years under Jeff Blashill, Lucas Raymond has completely turned that on its head, and playing with guys like Philip Zadina, Tyler Bertuzzi, Dylan Larkin, he's been all over that top 6 in the lineup and has been very, very good. Created a power play that has been really nothing for the Red Wings the last couple of years and created a threat out of it. Both Moritz Seider and Lucas Raymond coming in have absolutely done that. And I already spoiled it, but at number 1, it's that kid from Anaheim playing with the U.S. National Development Team. This was a guy that wasn't even a top 5 draft pick. Trevor Zegras of the Anaheim Ducks is a gem, and he is right now the front runner to win the Rookie of the Year, highlighted by the dish-again goal that he gave to Sonny Milano earlier this season. That is we always talk about the Heisman moment in college football. That was the Calder moment at this point for Trevor Zegras. Just, you watch him play, he's playing in terms of just trying out things we've never seen before. Sometimes you see that stuff in practice and, in a preseason game, in an exhibition game. You don't see that in regular 82-game, regular season NHL action. Trevor Zegras is just saying, I don't care. I'm going to try this out. He's just a kid in a candy store, having fun, playing hockey. Everybody wants to be Trevor Zegras right now. He is just on cloud 9. Will it last? We'll see. But again, another thing like Lucas Raymond, a team that has struggled to score goals, he has become the X factor in the goal scoring of that organization. And there you go. Give it to Trevor Zegras. All right, so now we're looking at pretty much it's the best center in the NHL at this point, and that's the Selkie Trophy. And this is a pretty highly regarded, other than the Norris Trophy and the Art Ross or the Hart Trophy, it is the Selkie Trophy. That is a big award. That's a big accomplishment. And there's some really big guys on this list, some new guys in this conversation. At number 5, who would have thought Evan Rodriguez of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who leads the Penguins in points right now, yes, ahead of Sidney Crosby, ahead of Evgeny Malkin. Well, Malkin hasn't played yet, but still, he has more points than Malkin, right? So Evan Rodriguez, in Malkin's absence, has been really good in that top 6 and just came out of nowhere. Again, I hate to say this, but a guy that came from Buffalo, guys, another Buffalo Sabres guy, add him to the list. Evander Kane, Robin Leonard, even to an extent Rasmus Ristolainen, all those guys, Sam Reinhart, eventually Jack Eichel. It just continues in Buffalo. I don't know what to say. And Evan Rodriguez is the latest guy to do that in Buffalo. And he's at number 5 in the Selkie Trophy race. I don't know if he'll be there at the end of the day, if he'll be there in Vegas next summer. But the fact he's even in the conversation right now is just absolutely incredible. And at number 4, this is the other guy from Buffalo. I forgot. Yeah, Ryan O'Reilly. Remember when he was with the Sabres? Ryan O'Reilly, he won a Stanley Cup that next season after leaving the Sabres. He didn't want to play hockey anymore in Buffalo. Yikes. But here he is, number 4 on that list. Ryan O'Reilly of the Blues, a captain, a leader, just an overall great player in that organization. And the St. Louis Blues really do rely on him to be that guy in the locker room, and was a huge piece of that 2020 Stanley Cup run that they had. He won, like 4 or 5 awards, the Stanley Cup, MVP of the playoffs, this trophy, the Selkie Trophy. So he was all over the place, winning award after award. maybe we see that kind of campaign again from Ryan O'Reilly. Now, at number 3, this is no real shocker here. This is pretty much, if it's not called the Selkie Trophy or the Datsyuk Trophy, you could call it the Patrice Bergeron Trophy, because Patrice Bergeron is the quintessential, really at this point, he's the best example of the Selkie Trophy. A guy that not only puts up points and is, gives you this sexy, post-game card of picking up points and goals, but he also plays very good defensively. Patrice Bergeron is definitely that guy. And other than, again, Bergeron, Datsyuk, and Kopitar in recent memory, it is the Patrice Bergeron Trophy. So that is definitely worth mentioning, that he is definitely a top 3 candidate in that regard. At number 2 here, a guy that actually models a lot of his game, his mentality, very mature for his age at 21 years old. Young Nick Suzuki up in Montreal, a huge part of their recent success. I know it doesn't look like that right now in Montreal with everything that's happened, but he has still been a backbone piece of that franchise so far this year. Great defensively, great offensively, and like I said, he's a young kid, but he has the brain of an older guy. He is just very mature for his age. Nick Suzuki, again, another guy from Vegas, probably wishing they probably had right now. Really nice piece, though, and I'm really excited to see what he does in the NHL, because a lot of bright things coming for that young guy. And then at number 1, we have Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, no real surprise here. That's just to be expected of the start that he's had this year. But with that said, let's kind of move things along. We have 2 more trophies to get to. These are going to be a little bit quick hits. But we're going through the Jack Adams Trophy. We got Dean Evanson, who is going to be in the conversation. He's done very well. Gerard Gallant with the Rangers. Very nice success there. Peter Laviolette with the Capitals. Again, all these guys are very good candidates. Rod Brind'Amour. I always talk about Rod Brind'Amour because he is a very, very good coach. And Mike Sullivan of the Penguins is number 1 on the list. So Dean Evanson, yes, of the Minnesota Wild, just so you guys realize. I forgot to mention that. But Dean Evanson in Minnesota has been a really nice coach for them, and kind of propelled them to a kind of miraculous season as probably a playoff team in the Central Division. And then the Jim Gregory, which is the general manager of the year. We have Steve Yzerman. I don't think anybody is surprised. If it's not the Jim Gregory, it is the Steve Yzerman Trophy. Julian Breswah of the Tampa Bay Lightning. You could argue it's the same team every year, but he should still be in the conversation, right? And then Rob Blake of the Los Angeles Kings. I thought that was interesting. He's done a very good job drafting guys. And then in the top 2, you have Don Waddell of the of the Carolina Hurricanes. He's done a very nice job in Carolina. And you look at the success of that team. Again, another perfect example of you blow everything up and you still find yourself where you are the last couple years. That's pretty good, again, on a budget. And then, of course, Kyle Dubas, his job in Toronto, a guy that in the beginning of the year, there was questions through the first week, would he be fired? Good thing they didn't do that, because now he is projected to be the front runner for General Manager of the Year. Kind of crazy how things change in just a couple of weeks. So, guys, that is it for today's NHL Awards Tracker. I'll be keeping you guys up to date every quarter of the season. We'll probably do this 4 times throughout the season. But, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys again next time.